This is a story about mentoring and personal evolution. Several years ago, I was on the search for real meaning in my life. Have you ever wondered about the purpose of your life? Well, let me tell you something. I really know what it's like to have questions about purpose. Ever since I was very young, I've had a strong sense that I'm here on this planet for a reason. I felt like I was destined to do great things, but I was never sure exactly what or how. For a long time, I thought my gifts were going to be in the business world. I wanted to be the big businessman with my own company and expensive cars. But then in my late teens, I started having a lot of deep questions about the world we live in. I became highly aware that there are a lot of problems in our world that really bothered me. Not only that, but many of these problems were directly affecting me every day. My education was suffering, the people in my life were unhappy and lost. I felt like my true potential as a human was being limited by a broken culture and education system. There was this deep craving to do something truly meaningful with my life, but no one could show me how. My interests were so vastly different from those of my peers that it became very difficult to relate to normal people. This desire to live in a purposeful way led me to explore spiritual practices and various systems of self-growth and personal development. I learned a lot, but still didn't find anything that really clicked with me on a deep enough level. I still felt alone. I looked around at everyone else going off to different schools and starting their lives. They seemed to at least have some sort of direction. It was clear that I wasn't meant to live an average life, but at times it felt like I was just wasting away and doing nothing with my life. Everyone would say, this is your chance to go out and follow your dreams, but I felt stunned and without direction. I knew so deeply in my heart that I could help the world, my community, and also live a truly fulfilling life, but I just didn't know how. I was afraid that I might never find the kind of meaning I craved. I was so scared that my life would waste away while others stood by and laughed at me. But somewhere deep down inside, I knew there was a meaning and purpose to everything I was going through. If I could just find my way, then I could be truly complete. I didn't realize it at that time, but I was already on the path to what I was seeking. With no real sense of what I should be doing, I decided to try my hand at university. This turned out to be a very difficult time for me. I felt like I had made a big mistake. My classes were boring and unhelpful. But it was during this time when I came across something that changed the way I viewed my life. I heard about a therapist who was doing nature immersion as a way to help people grow and connect with life. People would come to these workshops and spend as much as a week all alone and sitting under a tree. The idea was to really settle in and just be totally present with the natural world. At the end of their solo time, participants would share what they learned with the group. And the results were nothing short of incredible. They would say things like, "I felt at one with nature," and "I was so peaceful and conscious." Even people who had never spent any time with nature would be affected by their experiences. I was struck by the consistency with which people would access deep states of consciousness in nature. And even more striking was the personal and spiritual insight that seemed to emerge from these events for them. This process was producing real change with the life issues they had brought to the programs. They were coming away with a new state of mind to see life with. I started to realize that nature could be a key for accessing parts of our mind that we don't normally use in the modern world. I began to see a new potential for finding real answers to my deeper questions. Up until that point, I hadn't thought much about nature having anything to teach me, but this was an exciting new idea. I thought maybe if I could reconnect myself with nature, that I would find real purpose in my life. So I decided to seek out anything and everything I could find that related to connecting with nature. This is when things really started to get interesting. It wasn't long after that when I discovered the works of a man named Tom Brown Jr. Tom Brown is a tracker, naturalist, and mentor based in New Jersey. He's written a number of books based on events from his childhood, learning from a native elder. I was very inspired by Tom's description of what's possible with deep connection to nature. He talked about how our path in life is a journey of vision, and that the way to find our vision is by knowing the earth. And through the practice of ancient skills like survival, tracking, and natural living, he would help people connect with nature and find greater meaning in life. It made me think about my own connection to the natural world. I had spent a lot of time outside when I was young, but until now I had never stopped to think about the true value of awareness. It was at this time when I came across yet another tracker who would also be one of my future mentors, a guy named John Young. And John talked about the process of connecting with nature in a whole new light and detail. He helped me see how being in nature can awaken qualities in people that help us reach our full potential. He talked about how with long-term mentoring, we can learn our place in the world and understand how to step fully into our gifts for the earth. I knew this was a path I wanted to walk, so I started doing all the practices and routines outlined in the books and audio recordings of John Young and Tom Brown. It felt real, sensory and deep, but I knew that I still needed more. I had to make the decision to immerse myself and find my mentor. Now, I'm not the kind of person to do things half-heartedly. I decided that if I was really going to explore what nature had to offer me, that I would have to immerse myself. So I saved up my money and moved to a small town in Washington state to join the Wilderness Awareness School. Living in Washington was my chance to really dive into what I wanted to learn. In addition to the class time spent practicing bird language, tracking, mentoring skills, and survival, I was also able to hold myself to a steady routine of personal study. I was there to cultivate my mind and senses to the deepest level I possibly could. I learned how to blend with the natural flow of the landscape. I practiced getting close to wild animals and interpreting their behavior. I wanted to touch my ancient roots and awaken that long-lost part of me that was so connected to the earth. Those hours out on the land at my sit spot or wandering and exploring felt like I was making up for all the timeless exploration that I missed out on as a child. I made fire by friction and slept in shelters made by my own hands. I was surrounded by a community of learners and mentors who helped me understand nature and gain some amazing skills. And through that whole process, I did learn to touch my ancient roots. I came to life in a whole new way, and the further I move along this journey, the more my life seems to evolve and show me my real purpose. In the years since my time at Wilderness Awareness School, I've seen how I can help people come to their own understanding of how to move through life with greater purpose. I now realize how powerful mentoring can be and how challenging it can be to not have it. It's easy to feel lost or unable to get the skills you need, especially when others don't even seem to realize that you're on a journey. So if you need someone to help you along your path, then I want to invite you to give yourself the support you need. Find yourself a mentor. Find someone who has been on their own journey. Sit with them. Talk with them. Share your story. And if you can't find anyone like that, then let me help you. If you know that this is right for you, then you can join me in one-on-one mentoring to deepen your personal journey. Personal evolution mentoring is designed to help you increase clarity for your life's purpose, honor and support your unique journey through life, make better decisions and be more motivated, nurture your passions and curiosity, raise your level of personal awareness, discover and cultivate your unique gifts, and accelerate your personal success. So if you're someone who wants this in your life, I encourage you to submit your application today. Thanks for listening, and I look forward to working with you.